This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Young Justice Phantoms, Episode 8. And we have another good episode this week. A nice wrap up for the Artemis storyline, and we have some more interesting things, including the fact that we finally get a speaking role for the Red Hooded Ninja, who we all know is actually, well, Jason Todd, aka the Red Hood, and the former Robin. We also have some interesting stuff like the potential of Damian Wayne being taken away from Ra's al Ghul, with just the subtle signs being implied when, well, Talia overhears the sensei talking. With all of this, those are just, some of the minor stuff that I wanted to mention. Two things with the Bat family that will be pretty major, but going to some of the stuff, we also have a short storyline where we meet Jonathan Kent really for the first time, and it's really interesting that, well, this is the first time that I think in ever in any type of show or animated series or anything that what's called the Super Sons, aka Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne, have ever been shown together. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right. And, well, with Jonathan, the main plot line is him kind of learning what death is, and that he will never again be able to see his uncle Connor since, well, he's died. And yeah, that's pretty interesting also to see the effect it's having on Superman, especially since Superman isn't a main character on the show. But with this, I think this is supporting the fact that we will be getting a storyline similar to Under the Red Hood and Son of Batman. That'll probably be both combined, with Talia escaping with Damian to bring, well, him to his father, knowing that Bruce will be able to protect him. But we also will probably have Ra's al Ghul send Jason Todd after them, where he'll probably eventually be returned to normal. But those are just some of my predictions for the future. Now I think it's time to go over the show and what happened. So we have some pretty interesting stuff. We have a continuation from last week where they're trying to escape from Santa Prisca, and it seems that all hope is lost, but a favor that the Shade owes Cheshire, and I don't remember exactly what the favor was for. I sort of remember the episode that she was in with him. I think it was in last season, but I don't remember exact reason. So I wanted to mention that, but there's still some pretty interesting stuff. I had a fun time watching, and it was interesting to see how this all changed. And Yeah, that was a nice twist. And then they eventually do return home after, well, Orphan is able to beat Lady Shiva, her mother, in a fight. And that shows that, well, she is really skilled since in the DC universe, Shiva is known as one of the most deadly fighters alive, and there are very few people that could defeat her. And whenever they do have a hard time, although she may have been holding back against her daughter. We're not fully sure, but it's still interesting to think of it. And with the rest of it, yeah, I had lots of fun watching, and we then continued to some other interesting plot points. And the next is just, some reuniting, but we also get flashbacks to season one, which I'll mention briefly, and it is to, I don't remember the episode's title, but it was the one where the nanobots first appeared, and, well, we have uh, Artemis trying to take in her sister, but she realizes things are that she didn't want her identity exposed as Sportsmaster's daughter at the time, and this is moving her to not capture her sister. But we also, well, we saw that before, but we do get flashbacks to what happened after, and her talking with her mother, saying that she should try to save her, and the sensei saying that Artemis needs to be turned. And they eventually have a nice talk on the rooftop where they kind of, are turned to her still being a little embarrassed about not wanting anyone to know and capture her, although it was kind of justified by her mother. And that was done well, but with the rest of it, we had some other interesting things from this episode. We see that Artemis is nearly able to convince her sister to come back until Leanne is putting on the mask of, well, her mother. I don't know exactly how she knows it, but yeah, that scares her off. And they chase her to Infinity Island, where we ultimately see her confront her sister and prevent her from trying to kill the sensei, which would probably have led to her death. And this has both Onyx and Cheshire staying to try and be fully redeemed since Ra's al Ghul has changed. But this speech of manipulation has definitely scared off Talia, as I mentioned earlier. All likely lead to the Son of Batman storyline beginning soon. Although it will be interesting since at this point Damian is still a baby and he was around the age of 9 or 10 when this happened, so maybe they'll push this to the next season, which it would have to have a major time gap. But it also would seem that, the Super Sons will be a few years apart, since I'm guessing Jonathan is around the age of maybe 4 or 5, and Damian is around 1, maybe 2. But so this is really interesting. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this episode. I also really enjoyed it. I think that they do a good job balancing between serious plot lines and more fun ones. And I'm glad they released it this week and didn't skip for Thanksgiving. I am excited to see how this continues. And I believe the next arc, which will probably be, I think, the final one or the second last one. No, I think it's the last one because I think they cut off at episode 12 for a mid-season break. So it's going to be following Zatanna, and we're going to be saving the characters of Nightwing. I don't know if they're doing it with Rocket, but I believe they are since they have her in the title sequence. And I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Oh yeah, and Aqualad. They should probably all have storylines, and that'll make up the other half of the season. And if Wally West does return, you may see that. But it also seems we haven't had much development in the Legion of Superheroes storyline yet. We did have some stuff during the arc, the first arc, but nothing else really. But I do hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.